What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel and another Outriders video. Now we're up to day 2 of the armor reveal week that People Can Fly Studios are using to show us 4 of the new legendary armor sets that are coming with Worldslayer, the DLC at the end of June for Outriders. And they also casually dropped a fucking Moab and just revealed 3 of the new legendary weapons as well at the same time. So that's fantastic. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So as we did yesterday, we're going to start off with the clip first. I'll just cue this up for us and we can have a look at it together. And again, like I said before, I mean, they're really firing on all cylinders with these little primer clips essentially showing this. It's exceptionally well shot. I really like the effects, everything like that. It actually gives me a whole bunch of ideas for stuff that I want to make myself, which is really awesome. But yes, this is the shieldbeast, which is a new legendary set for the Trickster, of course. Now again, looking at the stat sheet from Outriders Outpost, of course, once again shout out to Bossified, just so fucking sleek looking. Again, the aesthetic of this set is on point. I really like it. It really fits with the whole I think design motif when it comes to Trickster. And again, these are the 3 weapons which now also casually were dropped on us, and we will see some closer up like screenshots of them just now, where we will look at each one of the 3 new mods on there. But essentially, when we're looking at Shieldbeast, the set bonus, and it's kind of hidden behind my fucking face here, so let me rather do this, right? Let's get us over here. So this is the headpiece of the Shieldbeast, and first of all, we can see that the 3-piece bonus for Shieldbeast says that every % of shield increases anomaly power by 100%. So if you have 100% shield, you have 100% additional anomaly power. That's pretty damn sweet. As you guys know, I favor anomaly builds to firepower builds. It's been that way for a while for me. So this kind of just feeds into that. Now the new mod that's on here is body count, and this is a twisted rounds mod, and this says when the skill ends, the next twisted rounds cooldown is reduced by 10% for each enemy killed during its activation, up to 90%. Now due to the inherent power that you have in twisted rounds, I have no I don't think you're going to struggle killing 9 enemies unless you're fighting a boss or something like that, and that's really the thing though. This is going to be phenomenal for trash clear, obviously, but if you have 1 or 2 targets available and you activate your twisted rounds to essentially shoot this boss, you're not going to be able to kill anything, and you're not going to be able to capitalize on this less cooldown before the next activation. But luckily there are other ways for you to also replenish your bullets with twisted rounds, but also with Trickster. So this is a lovely addition to that sort of bullet game, so that you could potentially drop the other reload ones, or that you just have another way of actually getting back bullets should you fail to hunt the prey or something like that and reload that way. But all in all, pretty cool. This is anomaly, close range, and cooldown, which I think is good because that's generally the ranges you're going to be in. You want anomaly, of course, because this is anomaly focused, and you want to have cooldown reduction because you want your skills back as soon as possible, and you want close range damage. I'm not so sure how Twisted fits into this though, because again, we're seeing like a sort of amalgamation of 2 different builds here, where Twisted is generally thought to be obviously firepower Trickster, and then it doesn't really have a home in AP Trickster. But I mean, maybe they're trying something different with this here, so I'm not so much judging the build itself, because obviously this could just be a showcase for them, just actually showing the gear and not really trying to build a specific build that uses things in a certain way. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. When you move over to the gloves, the new mod we have here is Cut Them Deep. This is Venator's Knife. Elites marked by the knife receive 50% more damage. Now this is just a really decent buff to Venator's Knife. I very late in sort of the time of me playing Trickster, I sort of fell in love with Venator's Knife. I think it's a great skill, and this definitely leans into that, making that a lot more viable against bosses. Then when we move over to the trousers, that is a fucking weird name. Pants, right? Shieldbeast trousers. We have Trophy, which is another Venator's Knife mod here, and this is successful shots on enemies marked by the knife make them drop energy orbs that grant shield. Now, again, the idea of Shieldbeast is you want to have as much shield up as much as possible. You want to have it as high as possible. Now, shield automatically depletes over time, and obviously when you take damage. So you need reliable ways of essentially just boosting it up. Now, the Trickster by default generates shield when you deal damage to enemies, so you need anything that you can stack onto that to essentially increase this effect is going to make a big difference. And this for sure does that. If you mod Venator's Knife a lot, then you can essentially have a Venator's Knife that hits a lot of targets and repeats on itself and applies it again. And then what you can do is if you just have a weapon and you spray like 3, 4, 5, 6 of these enemies, then you can get them all to drop you additional energy orbs that grant shield. So that's also pretty damn sweet. It feeds itself basically. And then last but not least, we have the foot gear. And over here we have another Venator's Knife. So this is very much like a set that loves Venator's Knife, and we have Hive Cut. Now what Hive Cut says, this damaging an enemy marked by the skill also activates the effect on other marked targets within a 6-meter radius, dealing 50% of the initial damage. So again, one of the cool things about Venator's Knife is, like I said, you can mark so many enemies, and this then gives you a direct way of dealing damage to all of those enemies as well. So pretty damn sweet. I'm a lot more interested in this set than I was in the Devastator reveal yesterday. So this is definitely something that I'll probably, even though my priority will be diving into Pyro, of course, firstly, this would be something that I'm very interested in looking at in. It's difficult to say right now if it's going to be like, oh my god, holy shit, OP, but I really do I think it's a really decent set bonus. I think it's a strong set bonus, and I really like that it's leaning so heavily into Venator's Knife, because Venator's Knife is a great skill. I like the skill, and it's also a great group skill because of the sort of debuffing that it can also provide, which is phenomenal. But then we're not done yet. We get to look at 3 new weapons, which they also revealed, which is really great. Thank you so much, People Can Fly. That's fucking awesome. That's the kind of like surprise that you want on a Wednesday evening. At least I got this on a Wednesday evening, so super awesome. But the first one being Final Penance. This is a double gun, so you guys on the channel know how I feel about double guns. There's no love lost between me and them. But this does have a new mod on here called Mage's Rage, which says critical shots grant a 10% anomaly power bonus for 10 seconds, stacks up to 4 times. So you can stack this up to a 40% buff, which lasts you 10 seconds. So that's again kind of decent, I would say. I mean, the fact that it stacks to 40% additional anomaly power is pretty sweet. Whether this finds a home on weapons that when there are so many good anomaly, or rather there are so many good mods already used by anomaly builds on their guns, is going to be interesting. Obviously we'll see a sort of like a meta establish itself once Worldslayer comes out, and some of these mods, and probably some of the ones which we haven't even seen yet, will rise to the top and kind of fight for the top spots in meta. But one doesn't always have to build meta. You can also just build for fun, and Mage's Rage could be one of those fun ones which give you a great way of essentially ramping up your anomaly power. This could potentially find a home in a build that dips its toes into firepower, into an anomaly, so a hybrid. So essentially a build that maybe has a tactical rifle and focuses on shooting and getting crits and hitting crits with that, and then this empowers up your anomaly power, and then you can drop out some nice, abilities with that additional damage that you're getting there. Then we get a pistol as well, revolver. I mean, I gotta say that shit right. And this features, I really like. This has got some hive tech kind of vibe, like something that you would maybe see in Destiny 2. I like the aesthetic. I think it looks really cool. This has got a mod on called Essence Extractor, and that's a successful shots on enemies afflicted by any status restore 5% of your max health. Each active status applied to the target multiplies the amount of healing received, and this is on a 3-second cooldown. So this is pretty, successful shots on enemies afflicted by any status. So let's say, for instance, again, if you're playing in a trios, then you know, one of the guys could be freezing the enemies, one of the guys could be setting the shit on fire, and maybe you're causing them to bleed. That's 3 statuses. So you can get this to essentially restore 15%. Well, it says that each active status applied to the target multiplies the amount of healing. So I mean, I don't know if it's multiply and then multiply again. So it, you know, does it multiply itself 3 times? I don't know, but either which way, that's pretty much a lot of health gain. And it says successful shots on enemies afflicted by any status restore, but it is on a 3-second cooldown, so you're not going to be able to basically take a machine gun and go and just like fill yourself up. There is a cooldown in between that, basically. So I don't really, it's not hella impressive to me. I believe that in Outriders, the best defense is a strong offense. It's just one of those things, like shit can't hurt you if it's dead. So if you have to focus on healing and everything like that, then you're not dealing damage. And yeah, I don't know if the idea here is that perhaps in the expansion there are sustained encounters, sustained bosses, something like that, where the idea is that you have to survive a certain amount of damage while not being able to deal damage. In that case, it might be important for you to have ways of doing that. And the fact that you can park this off on a pistol or something, right? And the thing is that, you know, generally people don't use their pistols in any case. They switch between their primary and their secondary, or their second primary. So you could rip this out and essentially, you know, chuck a couple of shots in and get some additional healing. But again, each one of the classes has intrinsic healing abilities, and most of them revolve around dealing damage. So this is just like a more of sort of situation, right? And then last but surely not least, we have an automatic shotgun called the Thunderclap. Love the fucking name. Again, with this sort of like aesthetic of, you know, rock and cloth and everything like that is pretty damn sweet. It is a automatic shotgun with the narrow variant, and it comes with a mod called Nicola's Revenge. This says shots link up to 5 enemies within a 4-meter radius around the initial target, dealing what looks to be a pretty big amount of damage. But this of course scales with your level, over 2 seconds to each of them, as long as the initial target is alive. So I mean, you got a boss, a brood mother standing there. She's got 3 or 4 little pieces of trash around her. You hit the brood mother, this attaches to all of the enemies, and as long as the brood mother is alive, or the boss or whatever that you shot is alive, because it has more HP, so then it obviously will be alive, or will be alive the longest. It starts dealing damage to the enemies around it, and it deals this sort of chunky, huge amount of damage over 2 seconds. Again, we have a lot of mods that compete for the anomaly side, because this certainly seems like it's something that you might want to, I don't know, maybe you would use this in a firepower based build. But then again, they are we're coming to a point now where, like my earlier comment was, that there will of course be a meta, and that is going to be heavily contested by the mods which we already have in the game, which are very good, in some cases best in slot, competing with some of the new mods which are coming, which some of them we don't know yet. There could be far more broken shit out there that we haven't seen yet, and so this will have to settle and sort of develop first. But that doesn't mean that there isn't room for funky or quirky little guns, or mods that essentially, you know, don't necessarily push out that much damage, but are very good at, you know, clearing out groups of enemies, which this certainly could be one of them. But that's basically it. That's it for the reveal. So that was the second one that was done with us. The shieldbeast, of course, that means we have 2 more left, and if they're following a certain trend here, we have 4 reveals, we have 4 characters. That means that we can still expect to see a pyro set and probably a technomancer set. At least I would imagine it would work that way. But that's it. Let me know in the comments down below how this one tickles your fancy. If you prefer this to the other one. Of course, yesterday the general consensus was that there were quite a few of my Devastator bros, people that follow the channel, that liked it. They liked the idea, they liked that it leaned heavily into melee. Today's is a little bit more straightforward and just, you know, dealing more damage as long as you're shielded up. It's and of course a whole bunch of new mods for Venator's Knife, which is pretty cool if you're a fan of Venator's Knife. But let me know what you think about it, And let's all hold thumbs that what we get for the pyro and the techno is really, really awesome. And of course, I will be here providing a video discussing that with you guys. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. It is just super important to me that you have a fantastic morning, afternoon, and evening wherever you are in the world. And until next video, fucking cheers.
They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now.